Hello everyone, welcome to the next interview in the Sleepy the Magical Bear podcast series. I hope you all know who Sleepy is by now. He's a magical bear who adults, at least initially, see as being just a toy, but who children, specifically Jenny Onion, can see as a really magical friend. D.M. Rivers is the author of so far 16 and a half Sleepy storybooks. The first one has been turned into a feature film, and not just an ordinary film. This is a complex affair, some could say magical, using live action, that means humans, drawings and animation to create a children's story. Over 800 people have been involved in the creation of this film, and all of them have donated their time for free. Why? Because we are all attempting to raise money for the NHS. In this podcast, we shall meet the actor who plays Professor Pear, Ian Macnaughton. Hello, Ian, and how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Splendid.
The weather's better today.
It was somewhat rainy and thundery and splendid yesterday. Some could say magical indeed, with all the flashing that was going on.
Oh, now, yeah, lightning. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful stuff. Tell me something about Professor Pear.
Professor Pear, I rather like him as a character because he was Sleepy's teacher. He used to teach magical history at magic school. And he kind of, what I like about him is he gives them advice and support throughout the story and helps Jenny and Sleepy to resolve some of the puzzles and things that they have to do to kind of win out in the story. But I kind of like him because he seems slightly eccentric to me, which is probably because I'm seeing him from planet Earth. But the world he lives in is quite weird. He lives in Peardrop Village, and it's kind of, he has a housekeeper and he's has a tremendous library, and he's kind of full of information and knowledge. So he's an interestingly slightly kind of mad character to play, though not within Magicville.
Magicville being the little town that Sleepy and his other friends live in, or is this?
It's the world they come from.
The entire world is called Magicville. Ah, right.
Yes.
I hadn't picked up on that. So, do you know any other little places in Magicville that? For example, is the baddie of this
pirate penguin? Yes, and his slippery snake, which is his ship, isn't it? Yeah.
We shall have to wait until book 2 to know whether or not the cliffhanger at the end of book 1 or film 1 sorted out, shall we say?
Yeah, Rescuing Magicville, that being. Yeah.
Now, we hope that might be made into a film, but this first book has already been made. Can you tell me something about your part in the creation of this film?
Well, I mean, it was lockdown. And I don't know about you, but I was kind of stuck at home. There wasn't a lot of work going for actors. I was going out delivering fast food to people who were kind of working from home. But it came up on a casting site, and I just thought, actually something creative to do. And then when David explained more the kind of principle of the fact that it was going to raise money for the NHS, it kind of doubly kind of made sense to me, because we were just about to enter that period when we were clapping for the NHS. And so actually being able to do something with the kind of creative skills base that was going to actually kind of in some way try to kind of improve things for people who were working, I think, really in a dedicated and brave fashion during lockdown, it just seemed like a really positive thing to do. And it was nice to have a creative challenge. But the key aspects of that for me was the filming on green screen at home and having kind of long distance direction. So it was this kind of process of kind of stuff, but going backwards and forwards, developing a language that would help you to think about your sight lines and things, like using 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, etc. on a clock face, and thinking about the height of the characters. And I found that was actually a really useful skill to learn. And I've used it since. The project has grown and grown and grown, and that has been kind of like really quite exciting. I mean, in that David has kept us kind of connected with what's happening and how many amazing people he's managed to get involved in the whole project. And when I saw a chunk of the animated footage quite a long time ago, and it looked great. It looked beautiful. and interesting and different and not standard animation in the sense that I was expecting. So I found the whole thing has been a bit like a present that you open that keeps getting bigger.
Well, you'd know about presents a lot because you play Santa several times. Now, Sleepy and Tinkerbell, the various characters, need people to believe in them before they can really exist. Now, both you and I know this is also true of Santa. Do you have trouble when people say, "Oh, you're different to the other one in the other shop"?
Weirdly, I mean, what I found the last time I did this was that the kids were so willing to accept the differences that it didn't really seem a problem. I mean, what I did do was I told them a very extended story about a time portal that meant I could be pretty much everywhere at once. Which they really liked. I even had a kid who asked me whether I could give him the plans for it.
I tried talking about quantum superposition and spooky action at a distance.
String theory.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
yes,
I mean, it kind of completely. It was really nice because then you get such interesting kids coming through. But I agree with you. I think a big part of the Sleepy story is Jenny's belief and her kind of this connection that she suddenly has to a magical world in which her beliefs and things that she sees can be more powerful and more interesting.
I asked David if the word sleepy has anything important in this, and he said he didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. So maybe there's some story to come out of there. But I hope we don't all wake up and discover it was just a dream, because we all know magic exists.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, I think for this to have got to the scale of it, for it to go from being a few people answering casting calls to 900 people working together across the planet. I mean, people all the way from New Zealand. I mean, it's amazing what they've done and then what they've managed to pull together. They've made a feature film to raise money for the NHS. And so many people. I mean, Sylvester McCoy being involved in it, I was absolutely gobsmacked. And Ian Lavender from Dad's Army, one of my favourite. Yeah, Mark Hadlow. I mean, Jed Brophy, loads of people. I mean, and also, having watched the bits of it I've seen, some of the people it's introducing, some of the new actors like Larnaca, she's great.
Who plays Jenny, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope the project does manage to raise some money for the NHS, and I hope people enjoy it. I think it's had such a good energy about it and such a good spirit. Hopefully that will be communicated. A bit like having fun on stage.
Well, yes, there is a degree of similarity there, that's for sure. We all like our moment in the spotlight. Yours is much bigger than mine. I only have a very small part to play. I might be doing some voices later on. But
I don't think Professor Pear gets a big part in this, because I just give them advice at one point where they turn up, and it's not a big scene.
But you're in other books, I believe.
He comes up in the later books.
We shall see what happens.
It's not just been individuals, has it? I just think we've had people like Alight Media have actually contributed a lot, and the hotel at St Anne's, who are kind of giving the space to David. Yeah, I mean, I think those contributions, and he's also got, I think, a security firm that have contributed as well. So many people have been caught up in this, and I think that's a really powerful thing about it.
It's marvellous to be part of something that's so universally supported, yes.
The film comes on 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and we've also got at 10 a.m. on Christmas Eve, the Sleepy Magical Bear Just Giving page opens so people can then make donations, which is the idea, really, isn't it?
Indeed it is. Now, people can go to sleepymagic.co.uk and download the story for the first book. Yes, for free, indeed.
Yeah.
There's also a Twitter, or is it X page, called Magical Sleepy. And if you do a search for The Adventures of Sleepy the Magical Bear on Facebook, you can find everybody there as well.
Yeah. And you've got www.sleepymagic.co.uk as well. We've covered all the social media now.
We do, yes, we're everywhere. It's an extraordinary thing. Well, thank you very much, Ian. That's been an enlightening experience, and I hope that we'll be able to do something magical in the future.